Hello, welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to do a slow flow for contentment. So I want you for this class throughout the poses to be content with where you are in your practice and the poses that we're going to do. And we're going to have one that we're going to add on toward the end that you may need a block for. It would actually be helpful to help you with your balance. So grab a block if you have it. If you don't, I can show you a modification without that. But I want you to just, throughout the class, be content with where you are in the poses that we do. So you can set the block off to the side for now. And we'll get started with a quote by Carl Honore. In a world addicted to speed, slowness is a superpower. So we're going to do a slow flow here, and we'll get started standing up. So we're going to come into what's called goddess pose. It's also called horse stance. We're going to wide leg here, but you're going to have your toes turned out about a 45-degree angle, and now we're going to bend into our knees here. So it's kind of a wide chair squat almost here. And we're just going to do some side bends. So we're going to bring our right hand to our right knee, and we're just going to bring that left hand up overhead. And then we're going to switch. So bring that left hand down, right arm up, and switch. So we're just going to go from side to side. So go at your own pace. You can feel a nice little slow flow going here, a nice little graceful, almost dance-like movements. You can make it a little bit more of a stretch. You can, if you'd like to straighten one leg as you're going up, you can. That's a nice little addition. So I'm stretching my left arm up, and I've got my left leg straight. And now I'm switching, so you could do that. Really just play with this and see what feels good for your body today. So we're going to go a couple rounds each side. And then we're going to go ahead and straighten both the legs, arms up overhead. And now we're going to turn that left foot, so now it's parallel to the back edge of your mat, and now you're going to turn those right toes out toward the front of your mat. And now we're going to exhale and bend forward, hinging at our hips, and come into a triangle pose. You could use a block here if you like, or you can just have your hand down your leg or on the floor if that works for you. And inhale and reach up and look up. And now bend into that front leg to a nice side angle. So you have to adjust your stance slightly here. Bring that forearm to your right forearm to your right thigh, and the left arm up overhead. Alternatively, if you have it in you, you could put your hand down on a block or on the floor. That doesn't work for my body, so I'm going to go with the forearm on the leg. Breathe in here. Try to twist your body a little bit up to the left and open. And now we're going to come back up and come back into goddess pose. So go ahead and turn your toes out to 45-degree angle. Bend deeply into your knees. And we're going to do that same thing again before we go to the other side with the triangle and the side angle. So go ahead and we'll start with my left hand on my leg here now. And I'm going to reach that right arm up overhead. And then bring that right arm down. And then the left arm up overhead. And left arm down. And then the right arm up overhead with a nice twist or nice side bend here on your right. And so just keep moving here at your own pace. And like I said, on the other side, you're always welcome to straighten one leg at a time here as you flow from one side to the other. You can go as fast or as slow as you like, although I'd prefer you do a little bit slower flow here. But go at the pace that works for you and really give yourself a nice side bend here. Breathing throughout all of these. Being content with wherever you may be. You may be more upright or you may be sinking lower. A couple more rounds on each side. Nice little side bends here to each side. And you're also strengthening your legs at the same time. And go ahead and straighten those legs. Feels good to get that little break there. Arms up overhead. And now triangle to the left side. So we're going to turn those back toes, turn those front toes, that left leg, toward the long edge of your mat. The front of your mat. And then go ahead and hinge forward and come into triangle. So that left hand is going to come somewhere down that leg or a block or the ground. And that right arm will be up overhead. Couple breaths here. Just allow yourself to arrive for a moment. Being content with where you may be in this pose. You may find that you have to have a slight bend in your knee. Maybe your hand needs to be further up. And then go ahead and bend that right knee and come into your side angle. So if you'd like to use the block, you can always have the block next to your left foot and use that and bring your right arm up overhead. You get another side twist or side bend here. Or you can do, as I prefer, the left forearm on the left shin here. I'm sorry, not the left shin, the left leg, the left upper thigh. Stay there for another breath or two. And then come on, bring yourself back up. And go ahead and grab the block because we're going to go through that round again, but we're going to add on pose. So go ahead and have your block off to your right-hand side here, to your right. And go ahead and turn your legs out again to that goddess pose. Your feet are at a 45-degree angle. And go ahead and sink here. Again, you're going to feel that burn a bit. You know the drill now, so go ahead and go at your own pace, those side bends to each side. Adding the straight leg if you like when you have the one arm up overhead, or staying in the nice bent formation, whatever is going to work for you, or maybe a combination of both. Going at your own flow here, just feeling into your body, being graceful about it, just letting it be like a dance. Doesn't have to look a certain way. Be content with what your body is doing and what feels good in you. And then go ahead and straighten those legs. Have that relief there. Bring your arms up overhead, and now we're going to do triangle to the right-hand side. So you know the drill by now. Go ahead and drop that right hand down to the block, the floor, or your shin. Left arm up overhead. Chest is spinning over here, open to the left. Stay for a few breaths here. Catch your breath. Then bend deeply into that right leg. And again, you could. I've actually got my hand down here on my ankle. I'm going to try that this time for my side angle. And then I'm going to bring that left arm up overhead. So you could try that, or you could go ahead and go with the forearm up on the shin. See what works best for you. Breathing there. And then we're going to add another pose on here. And again, I want you to be content with where you are. This is a balance pose, and it can be challenging. So we're just going to work into it the best that we can. So go ahead and keep this front leg, your right leg will be bent. I've got the block at the top of my mat. You can go a little bit the medium height or the lowest. I wouldn't go the highest because I don't want, you could. I just want you to make sure you have some stability there. So play with it. We're going to come into half moon. So what we're going to do is go ahead and bring that back leg in a bit. Your right hand will come down to the block. And then carefully, and you can go ahead and keep this right leg bent, carefully lift. As you feel ready, lift that left leg up any amount so you can stay low to the ground if you like. Hopefully you don't fall over, and if you do, it's okay. But use that block, so if you need to come up in a higher setting, go for that. And you're going to use this block to help support you in this balance pose. And I'm having trouble balancing today, so you can see that sometimes it's difficult. So just play with it. Just play around. We're going to stay here for a few moments just trying to come into this pose. Find a point to look at. If you feel it and you're there, then great. And if you're not, be content with that's okay. So go ahead and play around another round. And then touch back down. Come back up. Congratulate yourself for trying. Grab your block and put it to the other side, to the left. Now we're going to do that whole sequence once more. So whether you're able to come into it or not, that's not the point. The fact is you tried. Come back into goddess. Your feet are at a 45-degree angle. Bend those knees. You know what to do now. Side bends. Arm up overhead. Side bend to the opposite side as your hands going up. A few more rounds here. Breathing in for each one. And then straighten those legs, arms up overhead, triangle to the left. Adjust your feet as necessary and come on into triangle to the left. Left hand is down to the shin, the floor of the block. Right hand is up overhead. Right arm. Look out to the right. Catch your breath here. And then go ahead and bend into that left leg. And now we're going to come into side angle. So again, you could play around here. You could use the block, or you can bring your elbow to your thigh. Breathe here. Nice side angle here before we go into the challenge on the other side. And you have to understand that sometimes you may be able to do that pose really easily, and other times it's like, what is happening? It's just a day-to-day that can change. So you have to be content with where you are today. So we're going to try it on the other side. So go ahead and pick your height of your block. Keep that left leg is bent. And now we're going to go ahead and bring ourselves forward, grab it onto the block. And then when we feel ready, we're going to bring that right leg up any amount. You might be here, and you can tap back down, and that's fine. Alternatively, if you have a wall nearby, you could always do this up against a wall. That will help you with your stability too, so try that. But go ahead and play into it. Find a point to look at. My surface is not nearly as flat as I would like for it to be, so it's adding a challenge. But I will be content with it. Plus the wind just started blowing, so this will be fun. But go ahead and keep playing with it, trying to lift that leg up any amount. And if you find yourself coming into it, you want to raise your arm up, go for it. Do whatever works for you. Feel into this pose. Release. And let's come and sit down and do a twist and finish off the class. So congratulate yourself for trying that pose. That's a difficult pose. We're going to do a twist. So I'm going to bend my right knee, and I'm going to step my left foot over. If that doesn't work for you, just come into a simple seated position there. Otherwise, go ahead and step forward. Inhale and get tall, and exhale. Exhale, I gotta get my brain here. Exhale, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap that right arm around the knee and twist to the left. Just release all that and just be proud of yourself with whatever you're able to do in all those poses that we did, especially the last pose of half moon, which can be challenging. But I really wanted you to try it just to see if you can be content with where you may be in that pose. Go ahead and release, and let's do a counter pose. We'll go ahead and come over to the right-hand side briefly. And then go ahead and tuck that bend that left knee. My left foot is near my right hip. Step that right foot over top. If that works, if not, come to a seated, simple cross-legged. Sit up, get tall. Wrap that left elbow around your right knee and twist to the right. So contentment is a really important thing that we need to learn in our culture, especially because a lot of times we always want something more. We want, why can't I do this? Or why don't I have this? So being content with what we have, where we are, it doesn't mean that you don't have goals or aspirations. It just means in this moment, you're content. You're content if you fell over in half moon, but you tried. Exhale, counter twist. And if you want to practice that some more, if you really had some trouble with your balance in that one, again, try doing that up against a wall so that your body's up against the wall, and that'll help you open up into the shape, and then you can come off the wall if you need to a little bit to test your balance. A chair is also helpful instead of using a block. And then come back to center. So those are all some suggestions. Hope you enjoyed this class. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.